If you've been thinking about installing a permanent battery charger or trickle charge maintainer for your vehicle, stick around. That's exactly what we're going to do today. What's up, guys? Welcome back in the Shop TV. If you guys are new here, that's my 1955 Chevy truck that we've been working on for a little bit over a year and a half now. If you guys are a fan of the channel, welcome back. Now, for all you guys that hot rod or build street rods, you know we don't always drive these cars around all day like our daily drivers. They kind of sit in the shop, get babied, maybe they sit in your garage under a cover or something like that, and they don't get used all the time, and that means your batteries have a tendency to get worn down, and we want to keep those batteries kind of topped off. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it behind me, but right back there is a NOCO Genius 1 charger that I've had charging this battery ever since we put it in. It does a fantastic job. You can select between different battery types, meaning AGM, which is what our optimum battery is right there, glass mat, gel batteries, your standard 12-volt batteries, you name it. It does a really, really good job of charging and maintaining that battery at consistent voltage, and it also desulfates, which is a really important feature to have in a battery charger. Sulfation is a process that's very common in batteries that get left alone for a while. It's basically a buildup of lead in that battery that reduces the battery's capacity overall. If a battery does become sulfated, it kind of becomes a crappy battery that you can't do much with, and you could really charge it all you want, and it just kind of doesn't hold a charge. So our Genius 1 over there has a desulfate feature, which basically just prevents that from happening. I've been really happy with that NOCO Genius 1. I have no complaints with it. It's a fantastic battery charger, but it's just kind of a plug that plugs into an extension cord and lays around. Right now I got it sitting on my tire over there. And as this truck gets built, that's probably not going to really work for us. It might be really good for, like, I have a Corvette over there in the corner that we didn't get to building yet. So we're going to install something permanent today that basically I can take my truck anywhere I want, plug it into any wall outlet, and it's going to keep my battery maintained, topped off, and charged. So I've turned to NOCO again. We've got the Genius 2D. This is basically a direct mount charger, so it's going to be kind of a situation where you bolt it down and you don't really mess with it ever again. You'll notice on this one, there's no buttons or anything to select like we have on the Genius 1 over on that side. Here on the Genius 1, you can select what type of mode you want, whether you want an AGM, which is what we've selected, or a lithium battery, whatever. Once you select that mode, it kind of remembers it and it stays there, which is really nice. But with this direct mount, there's no buttons on it, and what's nice about that is that they usually end up being in some location like an engine bay or behind a seat or somewhere that you just kind of forget about it and you don't ever go to it again. And it automatically senses whatever type of battery you have, and it will make its adjustment and charge accordingly. Now, I don't know about you guys and what your lives are like and if you're super busy, but I know I am, and just having one more thing in my life that I do not have to think about, just plug this in and forget it and never have to touch it again, is a huge pro to me. So I got it unpacked. It's really nice, but unfortunately they only give you this 24-inch cord that's kind of hardwired to the unit right here. On the Genius 1, they give you this really nice long cord that you can see bundled up there. And there's a connector on it that you can open up and then attach an extension cable in between. I do understand though, since this is a direct mount, why they give you the non-detachable cord and the short lead on it. This is really meant to be installed in like an engine bay, and you just have your extension cord there and you can just plug it in when you park. But we're not gonna be doing that. My battery's gonna be bed mounted, and I wanna kind of have the charging unit itself inside the cab on the back firewall somewhere over here. So ultimately what that means is kind of sucks. We're gonna have to avoid the warranty, but we're gonna have to hack into this wire and kind of extend it ourselves. So here in the cab, looks like we've got 3 different holes that we can end up using to pass through. I think I'll end up using this first one over here because it kind of lines up really nice with the output cord. And then we have our cord back here from our controversial gas cover input. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. Let me go ahead and give this a snip. So I'm extending these leads by using these splices right here. I don't know if you guys are seeing these or not, but you basically slip them over, and there's kind of this piece of solder in the middle that heats up with the heat gun. There's these glue ends that glue onto here, stop any moisture from getting in, and it just solders those wires together. It makes a really great connection. That's what they look like unmelted. See, there's a little piece of solder, like a solder band in there. It's important to put the wire in both ends and make sure that they meet in the middle, kind of intertwined if possible. This way, when that melts, it really gets in between all those little strands of copper and fuses it all as one. And I've yet to have one of these fail. They're really great connections. I'm gonna go ahead and slip a little shrink tubing over it just to cover that up, protect it a little bit extra. So I'm gonna go ahead and install a grommet, pass-through grommet in this hole. Now the wires that we clipped off of here, I'm gonna send through, but I'm just snaking some of this because that grommet hole is a little bit larger than the wires are. And this will protect it nicely from anything that ends up behind the seat, from damaging those wires or anything. All right, so the actual charger part of this is complete. Strap that down. All right, so with the hardware installed, we're gonna move now to our extension cord, which comes from our electrical input right there. We're gonna go ahead and put a female end on the back of this cord. All right, that wraps up the in-cab part. We're gonna go below now, work on our wiring off to the other side, and hook up to the battery. All right, so here at the battery, we snuck our wire through the chassis, came up, and we're kind of stuck right here. We've got to meet up with the wire coming from our actual charger right here. We've got some looms set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and splice these two ends together, and we should be good to go. All right, so we're all neat and tightened up out of sight. All we gotta do now is take our terminal ends here and attach them to the battery. So we've turned to a solid green, which means we're fully charged and it's in a maintain status. And our little voltmeter on our temporary control panel over there is just 12.8 volts. What'll happen is that it'll just kind of regulate the voltage and kind of top it off as it needs. You'll see it maybe even ramp up to 14 and then drop back down from time to time. NOCO sells pre-made inlets. You can put them in the engine compartment. You can put them anywhere. All right, so let's discuss some pros and cons of onboard battery chargers, why you might want one and why you might not. First pro that comes to mind is the obvious one, just convenience. Just having the ability to plug this in and have your battery topped off and maintained all the time without thinking or doing anything is definitely a big pro in my opinion. The biggest pro, I think, is going to be overall battery health. Batteries don't like to get run down, and if you're building classics or hot rods, they do kind of tend to sit for a while, and that will shorten the life of your battery. So that's definitely a big pro to me, especially if you have expensive batteries, or it doesn't really matter, all batteries and everything is expensive nowadays. Just being able to maintain that battery's life to its full potential is a really big deal to me. I mean, especially when you're building something, you're dumping so much money into a build like this. You know, cost savings here, that's a big one. And lastly, kind of reiterating a little bit, but I would say just having minimal maintenance, right? Plug it, set it, forget it, walk away, you're done. One less thing to think about, not having to worry about charging your batteries or just stressing it at all ever. And to me, that's another big pro. Well, it all sounds great, right? Why wouldn't you want one of these things? There's reasons. The biggest con that comes to mind that I can think of is if you're building a race car, having an onboard battery charger that's permanently mounted does add weight. Yeah, of course it's less than a pound or whatever, but every ounce counts when you're building a race car. I would stick with this Genius 1 type style, which is just portable. You know, you plug it into your shop or garage, unplug it, throw it in a drawer, trailer up your race car and head off. Another con I would say would be limited portability. I guess that's kind of thin, because if you had a regular charger like I just showed you with the Genius 1 or this, you'd still have to have access to a 120 volt receptacle. So that's just, I guess, a con to any battery charger, is that you're really kind of limited to being able to charge it in a place, you know, like your home base or something like that, or if you're going to some place that you know has, power available. You know, it's obviously not going to work at a car show where you're parked in a lot or something like that and there's no power available. So I guess it's a stupid con, because of course it's only, you know, something that you would use when you have access to electric, but still, you know, it's just, I guess if I have to be fair and pick out things that could be a potential negative, I guess that would be another one. I guess installation complexity would be another con. Most of you guys, or anyone who's watching this channel, is not really afraid to roll up their sleeves and, you know, how to work a wrench and a screwdriver and all that type of stuff. So for you guys, it's probably not that complex to install this. It's pretty simple, actually, and I'd wager that most of you guys are fully competent and able to do something like this. But hey, that's not everybody. If you're just somebody who has a car and wants to maintain your battery, you're not mechanically inclined, and you're watching this video, you know, the Genius 1 might be better for you, where you can just lift up your hood, clip it to your battery, plug it into the wall and walk away, and then when you're done, you take it off, throw it in a drawer, and you're done. So installation complexity, while people that are handy might be laughing at that, we have to remember that there are people that are not, you know, handy, or they don't build cars, they're not mechanically inclined, and this would be a con for them. That said, for me, guys, this is an obvious big pro, otherwise I wouldn't have installed it on my truck. Guys, I'm really a big fan of NOCO products, and this is not a sponsored video. I'm just saying this because I personally happen to like their stuff and I've used it before. I was first introduced to them with their jump packs. You guys might have seen those lithium jump packs you just kind of throw in your glove box, and battery can be totally dead. Just clip them onto your battery and it starts right up. And it kind of replaces those big bulky packs that you'd carry around. They weigh a gazillion pounds. The thing holds a charge and it will jump a completely dead battery. They're pretty incredible. The Genius 1 that we had here was the second NOCO product that I had, and it's been working for, I don't know how long I've had this, you know, maybe about a year now, and it's hopped in the battery, and my battery's in tip-top shape, so I was really happy with how it worked. And so far, I can't speak to the longevity on this because we just installed it today, but I don't see any reason why this won't perform perfectly as well too. I'm a big fan of their products. I'll put a link in the description and in the comments for this product and for the Genius 1 if you guys are interested in either of those. So guys, coming up on the channel, we have an awesome video series planned out. It's gonna be a long series. It's not gonna be consecutive, but we're gonna space it out over some time. But I think the content's really gonna be very, very useful and very helpful to a large portion of the hot rod community. So make sure you guys stay tuned and look around for that. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys like this content. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and definitely smash that like button because it really helps my channel out more than you know. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the shop.